Have you ever noticed in the middle of some ordinary night that there is someone inside your head who won't stop fixing things? Someone who solves one problem, feels 1 second of relief, and by the very next second is already hunting the next one, as if being at peace was somehow more frightening than staying at war. There is something inside you that has been holding its fist up for so many years that it has become the fist itself. And it has never, not one single time in your entire life, actually seen the face of the enemy it has been fighting. Sedona, Arizona. The red rocks have not moved in 100 million years, and this morning they will not move either. A raw wooden porch, a ceiling fan turning slowly, uselessly against the heat rising from the desert before the coffee has even had time to cool. A man sits across from Robert Adams. Hands laced tight together, knuckles white, the kind of eyes that only form after 4 decades of trying. He has done everything a serious man does. Fixed the marriage, ended the marriage, started the new one, left the corporate job, took the smaller one, went back to school, tried the therapist, tried the retreat, tried the 12 steps, tried the silent one at the monastery and the loud one at the workshop. Each time, one problem dissolved, and each time, before the relief could even settle down into his chest, another one arrived, quieter, softer, but there. As if life itself refused to stay intact for more than a few weeks at a stretch. Robert has been sitting across from him for 10 minutes without saying a single word. A small man, thin, his hands trembling slightly from the illness that will one day take him. He looks at the visitor the way a father looks at a son who has been carrying a heavy suitcase for years. And never, not for 1 second, set it down to look at what was actually inside. His voice is so quiet the fan almost swallows it. "Tell me something," he begins, without a shred of hurry in the world. "In all these 40 years of war, did you ever, even once, meet the enemy face to face?" The man opens his mouth. He has a list ready. He has always had a list ready. The job was the enemy. His mother was the enemy. His anxiety was the enemy. The bad marriage, the debt, the version of himself he could never quite become. He has rehearsed that list 1,000 times inside his own head. In the grocery line, under the shower, at 2 in the morning when the ceiling offered no answers. But something strange happens when he tries to say the list out loud in front of the old man. "I did not ask you to name the fights," Robert corrects, without a single note of judgment in his voice. "I asked whether you ever, even once, met the enemy face to face, not the situation, not the person, not the feeling that came with it. The enemy itself, the one solid thing that made all 40 years of it a war worth fighting." The man goes quiet. He tries. He walks back through the decades, the panic on Sunday nights, the shouting matches in the kitchen, the therapist's office, the 2 a.m. loneliness of a bed too big for one, and he searches inside each scene for the real enemy. And that is when the first strange thing happens. Every time he arrives at the scene expecting to find a face, he finds only himself. Standing there, fist raised in the air, against nothing. The problems were real. The pain was real, sometimes almost unbearable to carry. But the adversary, the one his entire life had been organized against, that one had never actually been there at all. "Now tell me something harder," Robert says, and his voice drops even lower. if the enemy was never there? Who has been holding the fist up for 40 years? The man feels something shift inside his chest. Not pain, not release, something else. Quieter, stranger, as if the floor beneath a familiar room had moved a few inches, and now nothing was exactly where he remembered it being. He looks down at his own hands in his lap. They are still clenched, for no reason. He opens them slowly, finger by finger, and watches how there is absolutely nothing inside them to hold. You weren't fighting life, Robert continues, not waiting for an answer. You were fighting an idea about life. And the idea, like every idea, always needed you to keep existing. Without your fist raised, without your breath held tight, without your body braced for the next blow, that whole war would never have started in the first place. The man tries one last defense. It's automatic, barely a thought. But the suffering was real. Something inside him wants to say. The pain was real. My life was real. Robert seems to hear the thought before it becomes sound. The pain was real, Robert says gently. The war was not. And the moment you see that, not with your head, but with your whole body, the way you only see a thing once in a lifetime, the fist simply lowers. No one lowers it. It just lowers. Because it discovered it had been alone in the ring the whole time. And there, on a porch in Sedona, on a morning with nothing else remarkable about it, the man's fist lowers. He does not release it. He does not decide. He simply notices half a second later that the hand in his lap is already open. Robert watches this happen the way he has watched it happen hundreds of times before, without surprise, without urgency, without even a smile. Just the quiet recognition that another man, after many years, has just discovered that the room he was fighting in never had anyone on the other side. And now? The man asks, and his voice comes out thinner than he expected. What do I do tomorrow when another problem shows up? Robert almost laughs, not at the man, but at the innocence of the question. Tomorrow a problem will show up, he says. The day after, another one, and another after that. That is what life does. But you have seen, at least once, that there does not have to be someone raising a fist every time one of them arrives. The problem comes, life does what life does with it, and you can simply stay seated here, the way you're seated now, without stepping into a war that was only ever your own. The man stays there for a long time. The fan keeps turning. The red rocks still refuse to move. Somewhere far off, a single bird calls once, and he barely hears it. For the first time in 40 years, there is absolutely nothing inside him that needs to be fixed before the next breath can arrive. He does not thank Robert with words. There's nothing to add to a question that is still quietly doing its work inside him. He simply stands up slowly, looks once more at the old man in the chair, and walks toward the car parked out on the stones. He carries the body of a man who was at war. But he walks, now, like someone who has finally discovered there was never one to begin with. For those who would like to sit with this question a little longer than these few minutes allow, I have left another quiet investigation waiting for you. The link is in the first pinned comment below. The road continues there, slower, quieter, and without any hurry to arrive. If you made it this far, You probably know someone who is still holding their fist in the air, someone who spends every morning fixing problems that were already solved yesterday, and no longer remembers how to lower their hands. Send this video to that person. Do not say anything. They will understand in their own time, the way one only understands a thing once in a lifetime. And if you would like to keep walking through these quiet questions with me, leave below in a single sentence the exact moment you realize the enemy was never there. Subscribe to the channel, not because I am asking, but because here we simply sit together and look into what almost no one has the courage to look at alone. And if this video reached somewhere quiet inside you today, leave a like. It is a small gesture, but it helps this kind of silence find the people who are still searching for it.